Hello, everyone, to the 13th week of JustRants. Now, today's again gonna be another short one because I had like half a week to sum up, and again, I didn't do that much in the half a week, but yeah, I'm just gonna go over what happened. So, my last video was on the morning of Wednesday when YouTube decided to cut my video. Anyways, Um, since then, I've been studying. Yeah, wow, like Justin studies. Wow, like that's incredible. So I've been studying and mostly algebra currently, because I have a test later in August. So I'll have to study that. Algebra, like for me, I've done Korean math, and Korean math is like on the next level. Not to brag or anything, didn't get the best score, but I managed. And so mostly it's just like, oh, the language barrier, because I learned math in Korean. Everything feels Korean, like if Korean feels natural. If the questions are all done in Korean, I could, solve them easily. But then they're in English, and I do the SAT practice tests, and math never really was that big of a bother for me. So the questions itself is not a really big problem. It's just the terms they use. I have no idea what they're saying, so I've been, studying the math terms, and it's slow, but I'm getting there. I've done 3 out of like 12 chapters, and I still have a month left, but you know, it is what it is. After algebra, I have to study for my chemistry test and a Korean test actually. So because I explained in the past video about me coming to St. Paul, because I gave up going to a Korean, like even being sorted into a Korean high school, my as far as the Korean government's concerned, I'm a middle school graduate and currently doing nothing. Like I'm not going to school, I'm just living. Like as far as the Korean government's concerned. So what for people like me normally do if they don't go to a high school, um, you can apply for a test, like a level up test, that allows you to basically get your high school graduate certificate if you just pass the test. And now, originally this test is called the 검정고시, which literally means like, how should like testing test, like verification test, sort of like how to verify if you really are smart enough to be a high schooler or a middle schooler or uh, primary schooler. So there's, like I said, there's 3 tests: middle school, high school, primary school, and you can. It's normally meant for, you know, the elderly who didn't, or like people who didn't have the opportunity to go to high school, middle school, elementary school, and they want to get like a graduate certificate. um it's normally meant for people like them, but as you know, in Korea, where college is your life, a lot of people who didn't really get a good grade, or doesn't look like are getting a good grade in high school, often drop out and apply for this test so they can take the Korean equivalent to the SAT, which is known as 수학 능력 검정 시험, or 수능. So they can test the college entrance exam and then go to college like a year or two earlier. Now, for me, I'm not looking to go take the college entrance exam, but it's pretty rough living or just being in Korea and not having at least a high school level of education. And if someone just bitches about it, I could just say, hey, I'm a high school graduate. It's mostly just for that, like for me, and it's like pretty good for anywhere else. Like even though I'm going to American university, I could say, oh, by the way, I completed the Korean education too, and it's just a plus for everything. And it's not that hard because, like I said, it's normally meant for the elderly and people who are undereducated. It's normally very easy, and then the level you have to earn, which is an average of 7 subjects, an average of 60 out of 100. So it's not that hard. I did a practice exam. I got, without even studying, I got like 94. And so it's easy, but I'm gonna take it. I applied to a couple days ago. Let me just bitch about the applying status though. Um, you could apply online, but like with every government site, it's pretty shitty. And in Korea, we have this thing called 공인인증서, which is basically an identification given online by a bank or a government site saying that you are the person, you are who you are. And it's like digital identification, it's pretty secure. So most government or bank sites require it to identify you are you. And I have one, obviously. And I showed it to government site, and then it loaded for like 20 seconds, and it'll be like, sorry, can't access the server. And so normally I would just do it all everything online, but then this time I had to go out to a random ass high school, the government's like lending, they're using their gymnasium. I had to go there and apply everything, write everything out, say, here, here's my stuff, here's my identification, let me take this goddamn test. And then like the exam places aren't even near me. Like I have to drive an hour out. Anyways, that's just for future me. 2 months later, the test is on August 13th. I'll probably pass. It's just I want to pass with a good score. And so yeah, that was just me applying for a test. Yet another test. And another thing I've been doing is I finished, and this is not going to be a separate video, so I'm just going to talk about here. I finished the anime Sword Art Online, and it honestly, it isn't worth another video. I just turned it on when I was studying, and so I finished it pretty quickly in 3 days. It's 25 episodes. My um overall opinion on the first season of Sword Art Online, it's the godfather of it's the godfather of the whole isekai genre. I know the entire history on why SAO is such thing called SAO and isekai is born. If you don't know it, look it up on like web novels and stuff like that. It became popular, and then um now this big genre is popular and everyone's like raving about it. It does. Now, SAO is known to be as one of the first isekai, and it really does feel like it. It has all the elements of it, but like, would I recommend it? It didn't really age well, honestly, because the overall standard of both story and animation quality have risen over the past, I don't know, like 10 years since it came out, and so it didn't really age well. But you know, if you like isekai, if you like edginess, if you're still a teenager who likes video games, yeah, would I recommend it? But you know, it's not like a deep story or anything. Honestly, I'm not gonna go watch the other seasons. But yeah, that was my like 2 minute long review. It's the Godfather of isekai, not like the literal like movie Godfather, just the forebringer of isekai. If you like the genre and you respect its roots, I don't know if anyone's out there who's like that, go watch it. The writing is terrible, honestly. Like, it doesn't really make sense. What I learned from that story is not to write a story like that. Uh, yeah. Other things I've been doing is, I don't know, sleeping a lot, uh, studying electrical engineering, reading books. I started the Kids Monogatari and Life of Pi for my summer homework. I'm gonna read, it's like 400 pages, and normally if I was, at my peak of reading, I could finish 400 pages in like 2, 3 days easily. Not like that anymore. So 40 pages a day. I planned to end it within 10. The first 20 pages was kind of hard to get through. Like I couldn't really get into the mood, but then the next 20 pages was like zoom past. Like, oh wow, I could read more, and I wouldn't be like tired or anything. So I've seen the movie, so it's honestly like a pretty easy read. Life of Pi. If you haven't read it, not sure if I'll recommend it or not. I'll give my full thoughts after I finish. Anyways, that's it for today. I guess it's pretty short amalgamation of 검정고시, SAO, and Life of Pi. Gonna go and exercise more and get some good sleep. Peace.